Senior National Sales Director Rebecca Evans was in the top 10 of her seminar. Debuting as a National Sales Director out of the Irma Boyle area in 2004, her highest monthly check so far is over $32,000. She is a Mary Kay multi-millionaire with over $3 million in earnings. She has earned 3 Legacy Leader rings in a special NSD contest that rewards nationals for debuting new directors out of their personal unit. That deserves applause. Great job, Rebecca. And Rebecca has achieved Gold Circle status twice, earning over $150,000, and Diamond Circle this last year, earning over $200,000. That deserves a round of applause too. Great job, Rebecca, again. Rebecca is proud to have Vicki Jo Auth debut as a National Sales Director from her area. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Senior National Sales Director, Rebecca Evans.
To be in this arena surrounded by all of you, surrounded by so many women who can. Who's feeling like they can? March is such a special month for me. It was actually 31 years ago this month that I was a guest at a Mary Kay brunch where I heard about the company and the product for the very first time. I didn't get to try the product that day, but at the time I heard the business plan. And I worked at a radio station by day and a boutique by night, and my dream was to move into television news like some of you will remember Kathy Lee before she was Gifford. way back then, right? And our family budget was very tight, and I heard the Mary Kay business plan, and it really, it just captured me. I saw all those amazing women. I saw all the cars parked out front at this brunch. And I tell you, I just remember thinking, I really hope this is legal and moral because I really want to do this. And a few days later, I tried the product and became a Mary Kay consultant, wrote a hot check for my starter kit. And back in the day, you know, you wrote the check and it took a few days before it got to the bank. Yeah, anybody here done that, right? I'll never tell. Anyway, just a week or so later, I had my very first class booked, and it was actually still in this month of March. It would have been about the 23rd of March, so about a week from now, 31 years ago, I held a class, and that hostess did the unthinkable. She brought out other brands so that the guests could compare. And of course, that's because I didn't coach her very well. And the class lasted 5 hours. And they still lived to tell about it and buy stuff. And I got to my car and it was pouring down rain after midnight. And I'd left my lights on and my battery was dead. However, that hostess did go on to become my first Offspring sales director, which is exciting. And get this. She has gone on to be $1 million director 3 times. And you heard in my introduction, she is now my first Offspring National Sales Director, Vicki Auth. So really my question is, does that make you want to go hold some parties?
Yes.
Well, you know what, it really did me too, even though that was not a perfect Mary Kay appointment, you know, by any means. And the fact is, in the next year, I held 100 parties from that very first one. I left my job and I became a sales director. And, you know, Mary Kay Ash taught us something really important. And she would teach it to you today if she was here. And that is that you leave hundreds of dollars on the table when you leave appointments with no bookings. And so I was just committed to really focus on bookings. I had really bad skin at the time. We didn't have any of the wonderful products that we have today. We had nothing for oily skin at the time. And My nickname, in fact, was Becky Bumps. I had a lady at an appointment one time say, well, if you could sell this stuff and make money the way you look, I guess I could. This stuff really works. It just took a while for it to work for me. And for some of you too, if you're not really happy with the product, just get in there and experiment. Really, you have, the perfect opportunity to become your own best customer, and I really hope you will, because now I love the product, top to bottom, head to toe, and I really never leave home without it. How about you feel the same way, right? So I was really all about bookings because the warm chatter thing was not going to work for me with Becky Bumps. I knew I could, really benefit by leaving appointments with future parties. So it was all about the correct booking approach and the tentative booking approach and monthly specials and really working with the guests that were coming for those extra bookings to get that hostess her extra 20% in free product. How many of you are working for the hostess first to really get her that full 20%? 2 bookings is 20%. You got that? And the 20% is good for her, but who else is it really good for? It's really good for you. I mean, it really is the way you perpetuate your business, and it is the way Mary Kay wanted us to continue to build the business. Because when you're out of bookings, it's still true today. Our area today and my unit still loves to focus on $100 free for every hostess at every party. The goal is always a $500 party or more with 2 bookings. What does that give the hostess? $100 free, right? Or more, right? How many of you have friends and family and customers that would really benefit by $100 free today, this weekend, before the end of March? Absolutely. And so here's what we like to do. Especially with your website, it's so easy. We keep the party open until you hit $500 in 2 bookings. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Does it matter how long you keep the party open? Mary Kay used to keep the parties open for a week, but we have technology now. So, the goal is 500, but if we have 350 or 4 at the party, we keep it open. Use your website for outside orders, and sometimes even if she needs that one more booking, guess who'll end up with that one more booking? She will. She'll end up, but at some point you get to give her that full $100 in free product, if not more. So some the night of the party and some more, but at a later time. But I really feel like it's a lost art for us to focus on getting that hostess really what she deserves. And her time is valuable, and her energy to pull that wonderful event together for you means we need to be doing our job for her. So can you make sure your hostess gets 100 free? Can you do that? Okay. So those first 100 parties I held in my first year were not anything over the top, and maybe many of you in this room have done something very similar. It's only about 2 a week. That's that 10-hour schedule that we talked about earlier. It's the ticket, though. It's the way the business model works. 2 parties a week. You can do more than that, certainly, but 2 parties a week a year from now, do you know what that means? That means you too could quit your job. You too could become a sales director. You too could earn a car. You too could move up in this amazing business. How many of you would like to do some of those things? Yeah. Who could really hold 2 parties a week, honestly? In your schedule, you really could. Who could hold more? Really? I know you can. Really, you are the woman that can, and that's really the question. The question is, do you believe you're the woman that can? Do you? Do you know if Mary Kay was here today, she'd say everything you want from this business comes from booking and holding parties, right? And she'd do a standing count up to find out how many parties you have on your book right now. She used to do that at directors' meetings all the time. So my 100 parties led to the foundation of my career, but I want you to know that my 100 parties led to something even more meaningful. We have 2 beautiful children, 2 boys, and they were both adopted at birth, and both of the birth mothers were sent to us through dear Mary Kay sales director friends. They were referrals. We got to be in the delivery room when both of them were born. We got to celebrate life with 2 beautiful children, and they're now 13 and 19. I don't know what the parties will bring your way, but I really do know that dreams come true, and my dream came true, and really yours can too, if you're willing to hold those parties and jumpstart your business. You already heard it tonight. It's the final 4, right? In fact, actually, our 50th anniversary has 15 weeks left as of today. 15 fabulous weeks. And, your beginning might not be like mine. You can't go back and start over, but you can start right now and create a brand new ending. Who would like to have a brand new ending? Who would like to do that, right? So do a little bit of math with me. If you did 2 parties a week for the next 15 weeks till June 30th, you'd see at least 50 faces a month. You'd hold 25 to 30 parties. If you added 2 new bookings from each one of those by keeping your parties open, you'd have 50 new bookings to go into the new year. I think 50 is the right number for the 50th anniversary, don't you? Right? 50 new bookings. If you average that $500 per party by keeping your parties open, you'd have a whopping $15,000 or more in retail sales. And get this, maybe 20 new recruits. Who would like 20 new recruits? You would be a new director. You'd be in a new car. You could have a new offspring director. Truly, you could be a new Cadillac unit or have that beautiful new prestigious bumblebee or maybe even a diamond ring, or maybe somebody in this audience would be a queen at seminar. One woman really can, and I do believe that woman is you. Mary Kay reminded us again and again that everything we want really does come from booking and holding those parties. So who is going to commit to booking and holding some more parties to move up? Really commit! Okay, now I want to know who thinks it's important to have guests invited and attending all of your Mary Kay events, especially your unit meetings. Who thinks that? Well, I want to tell you an idea that I've been using for years, but I amped it up a little bit for the 50th anniversary. Every time I have a guest personally, or even for my unit members invited to come to an event, I just really believe that women's time is valuable and that it's okay for us to make irresistible offers, really to kind of make them an offer they can't refuse. So when I have a personal guest, I invite her to go to my customer website and go on a $50 shopping spree in honor of Mary Kay's 50th anniversary. And I'll have it all packaged up like a present on her reserved seat when she comes to that event. You know, my guest count has been about 98% since I've been doing that. Is that amazing, right? And if her order doesn't hit your website, you have a couple of choices, right? You can continue to offer it to her for another event, or you can maybe up the ante if you really, really want her to come to hear a special guest speaker or to come to a special event. And for some of you, that might feel really too rich for your blood. But this is a business. And I want to ask you a more important question. What is it costing you to attend Mary Kay functions without guests that don't see the heartbeat of this company, without guests that don't want to say yes to Mary Kay and be even a better customer or a better hostess or a team member, without guests that don't go on to be your recruits and your offspring sales directors and help you build your Cadillac unit? How much is it costing you? Empty seats next to you at any event are the most costly thing, I really think. Do you agree?
Yes.
What I know for sure is that inactivity is the dark room where negatives develop. So it's key for you to be in action, in motion, working your business with those bookings and with those guests towards a goal that you're really passionate about. And I want to share a story with you about a service organization that I am incredibly passionate about and work with very closely. It's called Operation Christmas Child. Who's familiar with it? Oh, a lot of you are. That's so great. It's an outreach ministry to third world countries. Churches, schools, community groups, even your Mary Kay unit can get involved by filling shoe boxes with all kinds of age-appropriate treasures for children. We have sons, so we fill our boxes with socks and t-shirts and color books and small toys. You get the picture, right? Hard candy, toothbrushes, and of course there's always Bible tracts. It's just amazing how much joy and love and hope you can cram into a tiny little shoebox. A few years ago, the director of our program decided that he would go to be on site for the delivery of some of the boxes. And can you imagine what an emotional payoff that could be? So here he is in the middle of this remote village in a third world country, and he connects with this precious little child. Their eyes meet, and the little boy reaches up, and he carefully accepts the shoebox. His eyes just grow wide as he carefully lifts the lid and peeks inside, and then his mouth drops open, and he carefully and gingerly and almost as if it's painful, tenderly thumbs through the box to see all the treasures that are inside. And then he does something very strange. He selects just one tiny little item out of the box, and he carefully puts the lid back on, and then he turns and he passes the box to another child. Now the director, because of the language barrier, wasn't sure why the child did this, so through a translator, the little boy explained that he had just never ever seen so many wonderful treasures, so many incredible gifts in one place at one time. And so his thinking was, how could everything in that box, all those treasures, possibly be just for him alone? And as I processed through that story, I thought how his treasure box is so much like our Mary Kay treasure box, like our business. I know all of you have lifted your lid and taken things out of your box at some point in time. What did you take out of your box?
Friendship.
Friendship. Courage. Faith. Self-confidence. Money. It's good. Cars. Diamond rings. Sales director suits. National sales director suits. Top director trips, right? All of those wonderful things you've already, many of you, taken out of the box. But then at some point in time, did you put the lid back on? Thinking, well, you know, maybe that's all for my director, or all for my recruiter, or all for my national, but really, maybe all those Mary Kay rewards really aren't meant for me. I remember putting the lid back on after two of my offspring directors decided to leave Mary Kay at the same time. They were near and dear to me, and that same month, my younger brother committed suicide. I remember going from a Cadillac to a Buick Regal and putting the lid back on because my mom had lost a very short 6-month battle with breast cancer, and she was so young, and I was really so sad. So I put the lid back on. How about you? Do you remember when you put the lid back on? Was it when you really worked for a goal and missed it? Maybe it was when someone you poured yourself into lost her Mary Kay dream. Maybe it was an illness, or loss of a loved one, or a divorce. Maybe it was a major move or challenges with your children. I want you to hold your box in your hand for me. My mic's in the way here. Hold your box in your hand. And I want you to take the lid off, and I want you to peek inside and look in there again. Go through those treasures. And I want you to tell me what's inside, what's waiting for you, still inside your box. Tell me. Director suit, pink Cadillac, cars, trips, money, confidence, leave that job. Maybe children, maybe you'll find children in your box like I did. A diamond ring, a bumblebee, a new director suit, a pink Cadillac. How about a national sales director suit? Do you understand that your box has been hand-packed by you? It was divinely packed. And of course, Mary Kay helped. My message for you today is that all of those treasures and so much more are waiting for you if you'll just take the lid off. And you know that precious little boy? I think he should get the Go Give Award. Think about it for a minute. Yeah. He gets the most exciting gift he's ever gotten. And what does he do? He gives it away. He passes it on. And so it is with you in your Mary Kay box. Not only do you get to keep and have everything inside, but you also get to do what? Pass it on and give it away. That's right. Think what could happen in your business if you really did take the lid off. Think about it for a minute. Everything could happen. I want to ask you if you will believe in this company. Go home with a greater faith in Mary Kay and her wisdom and our business model. Go home with great faith in our staff. Our staff, Greg Franklin, you know, his goal is to be president one day. Give him a big hand. And Carol and Alicia, the staff, go home with faith in our great products. Did you love your product bonus? Isn't that wonderful? Go home with great faith in our top directors. We're going to hear from our top 3 tomorrow, and our amazing NSDs like Deb and Kathy and Bet. Give them a big hand. Go home with great faith that you will have the courage and you will be willing to dare to do great things. I took the lid off, and absolutely so can you. In fact, I think maybe it's time to just throw your lid away. What do you think? Who wants to throw their lid away, right? I believe one woman can do anything she makes up her mind to do. I also believe that there's nothing that two cannot do when one of them is God and the other one is you. I hope and pray that that woman is you. Thank you.
Close it up.